Hello and good evening to you all. My name is Shashank Singh and I am here with another session of Daily News Simplified. Finally, the results are out, election results, and I hope the butterflies are settled and now we can focus more on the studies. Uh, with this result, definitely the analysis part come in picture regarding the elections and what went well with which party. And certainly, we are going to cover all those aspects which are important from the perspective of UPSC examination in our subsequent discussion. So, here we have some important topics that featured in today's The Hindu, Indian Express, and Business Line newspaper. And we have segregated this discussion in two parts, namely pre and mains. So for mains, we have taken two articles, that is subsidies in the farm sector, because there is an article which talks about the intention, benefits of the subsidies and how they have proved to be counterproductive. Secondly, we will cover Mission Karmayogi, because there was an article related to need of reform in civil services. For prelims, we have three topics, namely the Upper Yamuna River Board, which featured in news because of the recent Delhi water crisis. PM-Kisan, because a good chunk of population of farmers have given up this, they have surrendered the benefit, or they have surrendered their claim to this scheme. And thirdly, we have this lab grown diamond, because there was a news article based on this topic. So let us begin our discussion with the first mains article of today's session, which is inspired from this news article, which featured on page number 5 of Business Line newspaper. As you can read here, it reads like the greening of farm subsidies. Now, this article basically delves upon the issue of subsidies mainly related to fertilizer and water. Now, author of this article discusses that how the well-intentioned scheme or well-intentioned steps of providing subsidies are proving to be counterproductive in long run. So they have highlighted some issues, and as you know, if you will refer your GS paper 3 syllabus, this subsidies issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies has been mentioned. And as this is a direct topic that has been mentioned in your syllabus, UPSC has been asking questions based on this topic. Like in 2017, they have asked that how do subsidies affect the cropping pattern, crop diversity, and economy of farmers? What is the significance of crop insurance, minimum support price, and food processing for small and marginal farmers? In 2013, also, they have asked what are the different types of agricultural subsidies given to farmers at the national and state level. Critically analyze the agriculture subsidy regime with reference to the distortions created by it. So, this is an important topic, and here in this discussion, we will cover the key highlights discussed in the article itself, which will be beneficial from the point of view that it will give you fodder for writing answers, as well as if you want to use it, if you want to use these points as for answer in challenges pertaining to agriculture sector in general, you can use them too. Apart from that, we will take up the discussion of issues related to fertilizer subsidies, in which we will look into that why it is provided, why it is important, then how it is provided, the methods, different methods, and then what are the challenges, what are the government schemes or initiative regarding addressing those challenges, and then we will end up our discussion with a way forward. So let us begin our discussion with the key takeaways of the article itself. Now, as I told you that they have highlighted that how this was helpful, and later it become kind of challenge for agriculture sector altogether. So first point that they have highlighted that these subsidies have resulted into food production increase. And to understand this, the data that has been provided is the food production was 50 million ton when you will refer to period of 1950 to 1951. Now this production has grown up by more than 6% to 330 million tons in 2022-23. Now more than 6 times of jump. Now this was the intention, to attain food security, to become self sufficient, and that is what it was all about, the green revolution. So new technologies were adopted. Farmers were provided with easy access to water, electricity, as well as fertilizer, because by nature itself, majority of the Indian soil is lacking some or other micronutrient. So subsidies came in picture with an intention to promote this yield of productivity, to increase the yield and productivity. But what happened that when once you will give something like free of cost or unchecked, then farmer or any why to blame only farmers, anyone who is getting a freebie, there are high chances that they are going to misutilize it, and that is when problem comes. Now this misutilization, the exploitation, resulted into several kind of problem, including soil pollution. Now if research is to be believed, yield is also going down. We will cover this, that how this is happening. So this is how subsidy has impacted this. The inefficient use, the improper use has led to more problems than solution. So at global level, World Bank came up with a report named Recipe for a Livable Planet in 2024 itself. In this report, World Bank highlighted that availability of fresh water is decreasing worldwide just because of inefficient use of subsidies. Secondly, this report has highlighted that aquatic nitrogen pollution has grown up by 17% in last 30 years. So this is global scenario where World Bank has attributed the decrease in availability of fresh water and aquatic nitrogen pollution to misuse of subsidies. Now, if you will consider the case of India, this report, compilation which was done by Ministry of Jal Shakti, named National Compilation on Dynamic Groundwater Resources of India. Now this is a government document which says that many states are using groundwater way beyond what can be recharged in a natural manner and in an adequate, or you may say in a fitting time, what you require to recharge something. Exploited around 134% of what can be recharged. Now this is over exploitation. This is one issue. Another thing is that this inappropriate use of subsidy in fertilizer and in irrigation has made pollution a problem. Now India stands at third place. It has become third largest agri-food system emitter, just behind China and Brazil. Next thing that this article highlights, that use of this chemical fertilizer has grown up to manyfold. Like they have given this data that in 1960s it was 2 kg per hectare, but now a national average is 141 kg per hectare. Now you can see this jump from 2 kg to 141 kg. We are using more chemicals to in our agriculture system. It further says that major agricultural state like Punjab, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, these 4 states are using up and above the national average, they are using around 200 kg per hectare. So this is overuse of chemical fertilizer, and definitely if you will overuse and you will not use them in an ideal proportion, it is bound to degrade the quality of the soil, and that is what is happening. We will cover that also. What we discussed, that yield decline. Now researcher, apart from this chemicals that we are using, the irrigation method, the defective irrigation method like flood irrigation and all that we are using, when coupled with the temperature rise, researchers have found that there are going to be yield decline also. And apart from temperature, just when you are using 1 kg of fertilizer, the responsiveness was turned into sulfur accumulation in the soil. It has resulted into sulfur accumulation in the soil. Now, due to this accumulation, there is a layer, and other nutrients are not being absorbed properly, and thus the fertilizer proves to be ineffective in its application and result. Further, that apart from the subsidy, that water and fertilizer, article has also highlighted that what is concerning for us is our vulnerability to the climate change, and it has said that over 50%. Now if you have to take around 60% of agricultural field are rain fed, they are rain dependent. So any change in rainfall pattern, any change in amount of rainfall or duration of rainfall is going to affect the agriculture itself. Now, to substantiate this, they have come up with the government data itself. Like recently, government Ministry of Agriculture highlighted that in 2023-24, just 6% below normal rainfall in Kharif season resulted into significant decline in the output of oilseed, pulses, and cereals. So this is why our problem is more concerning. It is not just about the misuse of the subsidies, inefficient use of fertilizer or water. Because we have this challenge of climate induced troubles, we have to be more cautious about our approach. Now they have suggested some strategy. Obviously, the first one is judicious use of fertilizers. They say that we should combine the chemical fertilizer with organic manure, which will reduce pollution, lower cultivation cost, and will result in improvement of farmers' income. Secondly, they have asked for crop diversification, because why we are exploiting groundwater? Because we are tending to grow more water intensive crops, chemical fertilizer. Second is you are ignoring nutri-cereals, pulses, and oilseed also. So we need crop diversification. Thirdly, and very obviously, we need water conservation, because they have said that flood irrigation for rice is depleting groundwater and increasing GHG, greenhouse gas emission. And rice cultivation contributes 17.4% of agricultural greenhouse gas emission. So just one crop is contributing around 17.4%. Now question comes that this is all about the highlights from the article itself. Now has grown from 1.1 million ton, what we used to consume in 66-67. Now we are consuming close to 28 million tons as of 2020 imported. So this is the present status. But why we need? Answer is simple, because we have now, you don't have because subsidy, we need to tell the farmers, we need to encourage the farmers to use it more, to increase the fertility, productivity altogether. Then, as I told you, as we discussed, that most of the Indian soil are lacking the required amount of nutrition. a micronutrient, nutrient, every organic compound, they lack it. Because if you will go by the report of state of biofertilizer and organic fertilizer. Now, this report came in the year 2023 and it highlighted that 85% of the Indian soil is deficient in organic compound. We are not talking about boron, zinc, sulfur, etc. They are deficient in that also. But these are the nutrient which they are lacking. So in order to supplement the soil with such nutrients so that they can help or to they can support a good produce, we need to apply the fertilizer, and for that we need to provide the subsidy. Income of Indian farmer is 10,000 average. I'm talking about national average. It is low in certain pocket. It is. So this is why we provide the fertilizer subsidy. Now comes the question that how it is provided. So there are three methods basically. First is the cost plus method. Now what is it? It is basically provide for the urea. Now urea is source of nitrogen. So what happens here is that government will fix a MRP. You can call it statutorily fixed MRP, and producer, whatever cost it has incurred, the producer has incurred particularly. For non-urea fertilizer like potassium and potassic and phosphorus based fertilizer, there is a nutrient based subsidy. Here what happens? Government will fix different rate of different nutrient. Like let's say recently government has come up with the rates, and let's say it contains potassium and sulfur. So government will fix certain amount per kg. Let's say for sulfur it fixed rupees X per kg, and for potassium it fixed Y per kg. Now this is a nutrient based rate. Now whatever one packet, whatever the percentage that this nutrient will have in that fertilizer bag, government will provide subsidy according to the basis of content of nutrient, and it will be calculated. Government every season comes up with the these prices. They fix prices for various nutrient and they provide accordingly. Apart from these two methods, government also provides freight subsidy. So government provides transport subsidy to fertilizer companies, and this is done through the Fertilizer Movement Control Order of 1973. Improve the yield, we need to improve the income level. There is a mechanism in place how to provide subsidy. Now what is the problem? First problem is unsustainable subsidy burden. Now just recall this method, the MRP cost, the cost plus method. Now you know that every manufacturer will be paid a different amount. Why? Because the cost incurred in the production would be different. Now this will promote what? This will promote inefficient production techniques, because profit lies where? Let's say there are two companies A and B. One is saying I have incurred rupees 115 production. B is saying I have incurred 117 production. So government will pay, and the price MRP that government has fixed is rupees 100. So government will pay 50 to manufacturer A but 70 to manufacturer B. So it is more profitable to not to invest in efficient production method, because more the production cost, more you will get as a subsidy. So it proves to be counterproductive. And for every manufacturer there is different amount, so it is not an incentive to invest towards finding a cheaper way of production. It is more of an incentivization to go for a production cost which is higher. Second is, now you know that urea is cheaper than other P and K kind of fertilizers, the potassic and phosphorus based fertilizer. Urea is much cheaper. Now what happens, that ideal, that whatever has been fixed as an ideal composition, farmers do not follow that. Now ideal composition for NPK is 4 part nitrogen, 2 part phosphorus and 1 part potassium. Now due to urea being cheap, what farmer are using, what is the national average, if you will go, 7 part urea, 3 part phosphorus and 1 part potassium. So this is overuse of urea. So it is not just about overuse, maybe your crop do not require this much amount of urea. Now this leads to improper, imbalance use. Third is leakages. Now again, government follows a no denial policy. What does this mean? For unsubsidized urea, unsubsidized, I'm not talking about subsidized. For unsubsidized urea, there is no capping on how much bags you can buy. Okay. Further, what happens that there is no capping, there is just one capping, that at one point of time a person can buy maximum 100 bags, but this is one time. But if person has decided to buy multiple times, there is no stopping because of this no denial policy of government. So if you want to hold 500 bags, all you have to do, just go 5 different times, get 100 bags and you will have 500 bags. Even more you want, you can hoard that also. Marketing. Now you know that urea is cheaper than other fertilizer. Apart from this, urea has application in various chemical industries, including explosives, in manufacturing of explosives. Now being cheaper, no denial is there, you can garner anything. It is being used in different chemical industries. Now this is being diverted or being black marketed in different sectors. In 2016, the black marketing was so much prevalent that economic survey highlighted that around 42% of urea is being diverted to black marketing. Now who will be the sufferer? Sufferer will be the small farmer, because hoarders have an edge over them. So he is forced to buy urea from black market. And then, as we have seen in article, sulfur accumulation and all, there are negative externalities like soil pollution, water pollution and yield drop, etc. So these are issues with the farm subsidies. Now government has taken following step like PM Pranam, neem coated urea for stopping the diversion, Aadhaar authenticated invoice so that the leakages in payment system can be addressed, and capping has been brought in, and like I told you, 100 bags. But again, if you want to go, if you have decided and you will go multiple times, you will get n number of bags. And then introduction of sulfur coated urea or urea gold. Now, as a strategy to move forward, there are some suggestions. First is introduction of direct benefit transfer of fertilizer subsidy to the farmer's bank account instead of present practice of paying subsidy to fertilizer companies. So it is better let them buy at MRP and transfer the subsidy to the farmer directly. So those issues of applying costly production techniques can be mitigated. Further, Very important is cap on the number of subsidized bags. Then decanalization. Now, what is this? Presently, there are only 3 firms who are allowed to import uh, fertilizers. Now, we need to decanalize that and allow increase the number of importers and allow greater freedom to import this season. Next is bring urea under nutrient based subsidy scheme to prevent market distortion, because for urea you provide subsidy as under cost plus technique. So bring that into the nutrient based scheme based on nutrient. And now lastly, judicious use of fertilizer as suggested in the article itself. So that's all from this news article. Let us move on to the next discussion, which is based on this news article, which featured on page number 11 of the Indian Express newspaper. Now, as we know, we have a target of Viksit Bharat by the year 2047. And to achieve this target, what we want? We want India to be a manufacturing hub. We will look India as a global supplier of human resource, isn't it? So for all this, author argues that there are many steps and reforms that has been taken by the government, and one which is most important according to this article is the reforms in civil services through mission Karmayogi. Just a moment. Sorry for the interruption. Just one minute. Sorry for the interruption. So citizen centric, result oriented, and future ready. So the basic goal is to transform the civil servant by keeping these ideals of making them citizen centric, result oriented, and future ready. So, in this article, we will cover what's of mission Karmayogi, as well as we will see how things will change, what has been the issue, and how Karmayogi will try to address these issues. So, why we have taken up this topic? Because of GS paper 2 syllabus, where it has been mentioned the important aspect of governance as well as role of civil services in democracy. So let us begin the discussion with the first thing, that is goals. What are the goals? As I told you, citizen centric, future ready, result oriented. These are the broader goals. First is the civil services have this attribute that they are more of a rule based cadre. They will follow rule. They are apprehensive of take make for apprehensive of innovations, innovative technique, or promptness in going beyond the rule book. So first target is transforming them to role based human resource management. Second is right person at the right job. So what we know that it is more of a generalized service. Now what they want to do is to make them more specialized in their approach in that sense. So right person at the right job. If you have the qualification, you have that expertise, you will do that job. It will not be like that you have not worked anywhere in that domain, but suddenly you have been made, let's say, secretary in railways, or secretary in chemical ministry. So all those things will be taken care of. Then the democratization of learning and shared resources. What does this mean? Now you know that all India services have this facilities that if they can go to premier institutions of India, they can read there, they can train themselves, they can upgrade. But this is not true for other services. They lack these accessibility. So it is kind of government has created a portal, that is integrated government online training portal. The short form is IGOT. So this portal will enable any person from services, name it Group B services, Group A services, All India services, or some other services, the central and state government. It will enable them to access the same material. They will have this facility to access to the research papers of premier institution, courses from the premier institution. So it will kind of democratize the process, and resource will be shared. Then anytime, anywhere, continuous learning at a scale because of this portal being online. Then increased citizen centricity and improved governance outcome. Now this is the basic focus, because the rule based bureaucracy and its inherent colonial hangover proves as a hindrance to the seamless or coherent policies and accessibility. So transforming them to more citizen centric. Then creating shared national aspiration. Now everyone is going through shared resources. They have this very clear sight. Another, lastly, lifelong learning and competency record to prepare yourself, the term future ready. So you will be well updated, well equipped with current knowledge and current happenings, and it is lifelong learning and competency record. And now nobody is ready to take the responsibility, passing the bucks kind of thing. Your file will be placed at some place, and it is not getting cleared, the clarification. Then there are multiple ministries, if you want to make a bridge, there is a Ministry of Road Transport, then railways, then environment, everything is there. So delays were the characteristic of bureaucracy in India. Now this aims to integrate all of them, kind of whole of government approach, so that the procedure can be de-siloed. Okay, more coherence should be there, a single stage solution. You want to do this thing, just go ahead, and one point solution, everything will be done. Second is the governance. Now, traditional governance is devoid of evidence based policy. Now, what is evidence based policy? Evidence based policy, like you might have sense of such data, such quantifiable findings, your policy is bound to fail or will be substandard. It will not be beneficial for everyone. So it is more of an armchair approach where you are sitting in your office and you are sitting somewhere way away from the point where your policy is going to be implemented, and you are framing policies like that. So that traditional uh, lack of evidence based approach will be removed, because online learning and learning will be in artificial intelligence, internet of things, big data analytics. Now you will understand, now the civil servants will be equipped with the findings, the current findings, the situations. So their policies will be more evidence based and not like sitting in silos and framing policies which like one size fits all. So further, it is a focus like citizen centric. In this slide we also saw this term citizen centric. Here the problem is attitudinal issue. The colonial legacy still continues, and civil servants are more focused upon hierarchy, structures, control, and authority. So, to bring their focus more towards the civil services, as the name suggests, we need to come out of this colonial legacy or colonial hangover. And for that, what Karmayogi is focusing on, research based self reflection course to promote seva bhav, the sense of service. Okay, so this is what it is, and this has been this they have partnered with the Ministry of Home Affairs to train police personnel to promote public security and ease of living. Further in tax system, you might have seen there were loopholes in tax collection, corruption, etc. Now it has come with the faceless and painless tax collection that will reward the honest taxpayers. So now you don't need to meet the personnel who is taking, like income tax officials. Investigation is faceless. The return faces challenges of funds, function, and functionaries. So definitely, municipal corporations are brought on IGOT platform, that is the integrated government online teaching platform, and trained in municipal governance, finance, road and sewerages, engineering, and solid waste management. Kind of a specialized knowledge from every sector is being provided. Further, as we discussed, the characteristic is one time training at the foundation level and then mid career training. After that, there is no answerability before and after these two training. Now it is focused on cultivating a culture of lifelong learning. Further, section officers completed 15 lakh online learning modules on data analytics, government e-marketplace modules, and software. That's all from the point of mains discussion. Let us begin our prelim section by taking up the first article, which featured on page number 12 of the Hindu newspaper. Now, article reads as Supreme Court has directed Center to hold Yamuna board meeting to address Delhi water crisis. Now, recently, Delhi has been with rising temperature. News came that most part of Delhi are facing severe water crisis. So, Supreme Court has directed Center to convene this meeting, this Upper Yamuna board meeting, and get to a solution that what can be done. UPSC has been asking questions based on various constitutional, statutory, non-statutory, and regulatory bodies. As you can see, in 2018 itself, it has asked a question based on National Green Tribunal and Central Pollution Control Board, that is CCB. So we have taken a question on a similar line on Upper Yamuna Board. You have to consider these statements and identify the correct one. But before that, let us quickly see what is Yamuna Board. Now, this in 1994, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and NCT of Delhi. What it was about? It was about allocation of utilizable surface flow of river Yamuna up to Okhla barrage among the co-basin state, namely Himachal, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and NCT. Now, definitely these many states are there, so this office cannot be made subordinate to any one of them. So, better solution is that this office goes under the subordination of Department of Water Resources under Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India. Now, read the first statement. It is a statutory body under the Government of Delhi. This is incorrect. It is not under Government of Delhi, but it is under Department of Water Resources under Ministry of Jal Shakti. Now, second statement says the board shall have the full-time member secretary who does not belong to the beneficiary state. Now, read the composition. The board shall consist of member of Central Water Commission as part-time chairman, one nominee each from state of the signing state, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Rajasthan, Himachal, and NCT, and who are not below the rank of chief engineer. Chief engineer from Central Electricity Authority also, and representative of Central Groundwater Board and Central Pollution Control Board as part-time members. Now, important point is the board shall have full-time member secretary who does not belong to beneficiary state. So, member secretary cannot be from any of the mentioned state. And all the posts of Upper Yamuna River Board Secretariat are filled on deputation basis from staff officers of central as well as state governments. Now you know that your second statement is correct, that full-time member secretary should not belong to the beneficiary states. So as you had to find which one is the correct answer, would be B, that is 2 only. Now second MCQ is based on this news article which featured in the Hindu newspaper, page number 10. Now it reads like over 1 lakh farmers voluntarily gave up their PM-Kisan benefits last year. So this news article says that since you know that monetary amount of 6,000 is provided under this scheme, and looking at the income levels of our farmers, it is very surprising to see that these many farmers have voluntarily gave up their membership to this PM-Kisan benefit. And more surprising is that these farmers, majority of them belong to state of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan. So UPSC has been asking question based on important schemes of government like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. They have asked in 2016. So we have curated a similar question based on the PM-Kisan Samman Nidhi, that is PM-Kisan. You have to identify the correct statements. Now, let us learn quickly about the PM-Kisan Samman Nidhi. It is a central sector scheme with 100% funding from Government of India. Second, it provides income support of 6,000 per year in 3 equal installments, that is 2,000, provided to all land holding farmer families. But this was not the situation from the beginning. Earlier, in 2019, when it was launched, its benefits were admissible only to small and marginal farmer families with combined land holding up to 2 hectares. So just keep this thing in mind that from the very beginning, all farmers were not eligible. But later, it was extended to all farmer families irrespective of size of their land holding. But there are some exceptions. Those who pay income tax, those with those families who have government employees, and professionals like doctor, etc., are excluded from the benefit of this scheme. Now, what is family according to this scheme is husband, wife, and a minor children. Who will identify the beneficiary? The state government and UTA administration, in case of union territory, will identify the farmer families, and fund will be directly transferred to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. Now, these are the information. Now, let us try to solve this question. Question says it is a central sector scheme with contribution from the central government only. And you know that central sector scheme, there are two kinds of a scheme, central sector and centrally sponsored. Now, centrally sponsored scheme, there is a share between center and state, but central sector scheme is 100% funded by the central government. Second statement says, under the scheme, income support is provided only to small and marginal. No, this was the criteria at the beginning, but now this is not the criteria. So our answer would be A, that is 1 only. Now, last topic for today's session is lab grown diamond. Now, this news article talks about recently a private company came up with the lab grown diamond, which is of the shape of the comic and now the movie character Batman. So it is very tough to create such shapes with the naturally found diamond, because it is very hard, and to give it such a shape, you will need a very large chunk of rough diamond, and then you have to cut it down. So it will become very, very, very costly. And definitely this Batman shaped studs were created for normal uses to wear it as an ornament in your ears. So cost is very low, and that is what the benefit of this lab grown diamond. Now, from the name itself, you might have understood that diamond will be created in a controlled lab environment. So UPSC has been asking question based on development in the field of science and technology. As you might have seen the question in 2014, that they have asked the concern question based on the concern regarding the nanoparticles. So we have created a question based on lab grown diamond. But before solving the question, let us quickly look into the details regarding the same. So what are the other names? Lab created diamonds, man-made diamond, engineered diamond, and cultured diamonds. These are the names, and as we discussed, they are grown in a highly controlled laboratory environments, and this environment duplicate the condition under which diamond naturally develop when they form in the mantle beneath the earth crust. So what are the two very important factors beneath the earth? One is temperature, other is pressure. So you need to create that high temperature and pressure to create this in lab, and it hardly takes 1 month to create one this lab grown diamond. But the procedure is very complicated, and that is why the term highly controlled laboratory environments. But it is way more cheaper than the natural diamond. It also consists of actual carbon atoms arranged in the characteristic diamond crystal structure. So everything is same. Since they are made of the same material as natural, they exhibit the same optical and chemical property. And it is a technologically and innovation driven emerging sector with high employment potential. Definitely, if you are growing it in labs, and it is going to generate the employment as well as earning opportunities. And these environment friendly diamonds, which have optically and chemically the same properties as natural diamonds, are in demand these days. And this article talks about the same, the opportunity and proposition of practicing it in India. Now, there are two methods. First is high pressure, high temperature method. Second is chemical vapor deposition method. In high pressure, high temperature method, as the name suggests, the seed and graphite carbon. Now, what is seed? Seed is a slide of natural diamond. So you will take a slice of natural diamond, that is what the seed is, and graphite carbon, and they are exposed to extreme high temperature around 1500 degrees Celsius and extremely high pressures. So once you will expose them, you will get this graphite will be melted into liquid carbon, and then diamond crystal can be attained. Now, this method is also used to enhance the color of diamond, making them colorless, pink, green, blue, or yellow. So, apart from creating this lab grown diamond, this method can also be used to impart color to the diamonds. And they have some impurities of boron or nitrogen, but this method is very popular in China. China is already producing this lab grown diamonds. Another method is chemical vapor deposition. In this seed, again, the slice of natural diamond is heated up to 800 degrees Celsius in a sealed chamber with molecules of carbon rich gas such as methane. Now, once you will heat up at 800 degrees Celsius, this gas molecule will be broken down into carbon and hydrogen, and which get deposited on the seed, giving it a shape of a square tabular diamond crystal. Now, this process also requires heat or irradiation to give the crystal a color effect. And diamond produced by this method, most chemically pure diamonds, because you have seen it here in this method, they have some impurities, and they are free from impurities of nitrogen and boron. And this method is more popular in India. So this was the information regarding the method of creating lab grown diamonds, and now you have understood what are the benefit. First thing, you don't need mining activity, you don't need to disturb the environment. Second, quality is same. Third is value for money and affordable, as I told you while discussing the news itself. Then there is an scarcity of diamond, and that's why it is way too costly. So it can address that issue. And then the strengthening of India's gems and jewelry industry, which is already has a which is already very well placed in the global market. Now let us see the question. You have to identify the incorrect statements. First statement says these man-made diamonds consist of actual carbon atoms arranged in the characteristic diamond crystal structure. This statement is correct. Second statement says they are made of the same material as natural diamonds. They exhibit the same optical and chemical property. Again, this statement is correct. So as you had to find the incorrect statements, our answer would be D, that is neither one nor two. So that's all from today's session. If you have any doubt, you can drop your message in the comment box. Our team will get back to you as soon as possible. And for more such updates, stay tuned with Raus as DNS. Thank you so much.